Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful evening last night. I did. Kentrell LeGrew, what's going on, man? All things. Denali Smith, what's up, man? Calvin Harris said, I don't want to see this fight. Bud's fighting to get paid. Go fight real at 154 because you really didn't win that 154 belt. Canelo versus Benavidez is the fight. I agree. What's up, Andy Gill in the building? Barbara D. Good morning, beautiful. The beautiful Barbara D. Nuke the Duke and Andy Gill, Denali Smith, Big Block. What's going on, man? Fresh Baker. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me get this sip of this coffee while y'all come on in the door. Man, Oscar De La Hoya went in. Yeah, he did. Oscar De La Hoya went in, man. What a beautiful speech by Oscar De La Hoya. What up, man? Greg Hackett. I mentioned you in a video today, man. What's going on, Greg? How you feeling, brother? Jay Henderson in the building. What's up, man? How you feeling? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Kentrell? So, big news. Oscar De La Hoya says that the PBC and the Golden Boy are partnering. That is now Top Rank, Golden Boy, and the PBC. Hope it was. Yeah, absolutely it was. I agreed with you about Jaron Ennis moving up in weight. I think now's the time for Jaron Ennis to move up in weight, Greg Hackett. And I mentioned you because you had mentioned it before and I had disagreed with you. But now that he's the unified champion, I think it's okay for him to move up. I don't think he should wait around for Brian Norman. I don't think he should wait around for Mario Barrios and those guys. I think he should go to 154 because I would hate to see happen to him what happened to Errol. Because Errol Spence should have left 147 a ways before he left 147, and he should have left Terence Crawford sitting there. That's what he should have done. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. You know what I mean? Nuke the Duke said Abdullah Mason versus Sam Nokis for Keyshawn's vacant belt. I'll take it. I'm still very disappointed at Keyshawn. But I want to talk about what Oscar De La Hoya said about the media. And he said he did not know that the media was that hard to pay off. And I thought to myself, didn't he used to own the ring? So I'm kind of, what's up, King of King? He can always go back down and fight Junior. Nah, I think he shouldn't move. I mean, the way he looked at his weigh-in, I don't think he should. I think he should be done with the weight class. I'm going to invite y'all, in case anybody want to click the link early, I'm going to put the link in the chat. That's easy to pay off. What is that? What do you mean? There you go. No, man, I think that's what I was saying, Greg. I think Jaron should move up. I think it's time for him to go, man. But hopefully we'll find out what's going on with him and Matchroom and the PBC very soon. Everyone is sitting at the table with Turkey and Bill these days, paid off for real. Yeah, I mean, the boxing media is always been bad. It's always been bad. But now it is. Yeah, that's what Oscar said. He said he didn't know the media was that easy to pay off. Yeah, obviously they are that easy to pay off. But because what we're seeing reflected in the media is not what's actually taking place in the sport of boxing. The people that they say are the big fights that people want are not big fights that people are asking for. They're people that Turkey Al-Sheikh is saying is a big fight. So as long as Turkey Al-Sheikh says it's a big fight to them. I did a video yesterday where I said that, man, people like, why is it necessary for people to lie about the amount of money that people are getting paid in fights? And the truth and the fact of the matter is it's because there's no true value in the fight itself. So they have to create some type of false value in your mind by telling you how much these people are getting paid. And then they lie and exaggerate about how much money they're getting paid. And the media goes with it. The media is reporting anything as fact that Turkey Al-Sheikh puts out there. And they should, and mean, hey, man, but you got to blame, but Oscar De La Hoya, shoot, you're to blame for that too. He's part of the show. He owned Ring Magazine. He knew that Top Rank and Golden Boy were basically the only fighters getting put on top 10 pound for pound lists. I can't imagine what pound for pound lists are going to look like in a year. You're going to have Ahmad Shiraz. They had Ahmad Shiraz headlining a card in New York, man. So T.O. said he's not with the PBC. We know that. He's just sparking conversations for people to talk. I mean, look, man, he's not doing that for no reason, man. He's not doing it for no reason. Dana White is he went off on Dana White too. I'm going to pull it up as y'all come in. Barbara D, thank you so much. It's 3A. Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday, man. Put some cakes in there. Barbara Day said, good morning. It's 3 years of membership marriage. Thank you. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful marriage. And will you marry me again, Barbara D? By the way, I turned 60. I turned 64 today. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Look, man, is this real news or just talks? Look, Oscar De La Hoya said that he was taking calls and exchanging calls with the PBC because Golden Boy, the PBC, and those guys aren't going anywhere. So he said he's taking calls with the PB. He's taking calls with Al Heyman. He's taking calls with Bob Arum. He's taking calls with all these other promoters. So yeah, I'm for real, Barbara D. I want you to marry me again. I have to, though, come with a sad moment. Ananda Lewis died. I have to tell you, man, that shit hit hard, man. Ananda Lewis. Man, I'm getting old, man. When the dime pieces of my generation are passing, man, I feel so bad about that, man. What a nice woman, man. She was such a nice person. Such a nice, friendly person. Like what she was like off camera. Yeah, man. Oh, God. Thank you, Barbara D. Yeah, man. She was so beautiful and so nice. That's a great combination of somebody that was super pretty, very, very talented, very professional, and very nice. Very nice person. I choked up. I choked up with her. Dave said, yeah, she passed away from cancer. Yeah, man. I remember the last thing I said that I saw of her, she said she has stage 5 cancer. What is sad is she said she should still be here. She found out she had cancer and felt the lump and decided to treat it herself, and then it spread to stage 4. Yeah. Yeah, man, you got to go see the doctor, man. Got to go see the doctor. Got to go see the doctor, man. Got to go see the doctor. Got to get the medicine, man, because, hey, anyway, it's very sad. She's such a beautiful woman. Such a beautiful woman. Fanon, did you hear Turkey will have a smaller ring for the July card? I hope so, man. I hope Turkey does something. I hope Turkey has a small ring. I hope he puts a tire in the middle of the ring and sticks their feet in that mud. Because seriously, he has to do something about that fight being that boring, man. You know what I mean? Phoenix is a 18. What? Hey, 18 by 18. Hold on, 18 by 18 is kind of big, isn't it? I have to admit my ignorance into the size of the boxing rings, man. That's where I show that I ain't no fighter, because I can't tell you the size of the boxing ring. I can tell you the size of the gloves. I can't tell you the size of that ring, man. It was originally 20 by 20. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, 20 by 20, and they want to cut it down to 18 by 18. Cut it down to 18 by 18. I don't have a problem with that. That dude named Dave said, I thought the biggest ring was 24 by 24. Bug Eyes thinks the reason Turkey made the no think he the reason. Dude, you can't have a no rule run. Hey, good for him, man. Good for him. Good for him. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt that Turkey Al-Sheikh listens to buffoons. I would not. I need to stop hating on that dude. I'm going to stop hating on that dude. Really, I am. Probably I won't, but I probably should. I probably should. Anyway, that's the first time I said somebody said a no-run rule. I don't know what you're going to do, though. You know what I mean? So Oscar said they're fighting at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Yep. They're going to put the biggest fight of this in the United States. That just tells you know why they want that then? So people in Saudi Arabia can watch it. So they're going to put it on in the afternoon so it can be seen in Europe. Like, man, you guys are, dude, will you get out of boxing? Turkey, just get out, man. He literally works for the zone. Yeah, I mean, dude, I knew that Turkey Al-Sheikh was thinking about it because he said it, not because there's some he created some idea. More than likely, those guys already said it, and they wanted to set the groundwork for how they can force people to fight. This is how I can tell you how you can force people to fight. You pay them almost no money. That's how you get them to fight. The people fight when they're hungry. I'm serious, man. Have you ever had a missed meal cramp? Missed meal cramps will get you out running. Missed meal cramps will get you working hard. It for sure it will. You know? That's so dumb. So much for me throwing a fight party. Yeah, you can't throw a fight party at 3:00 in the afternoon. But it can't be at Allegiant Stadium either because there's already a football game there. Exactly. Starving fighters are hungry for KOs. That's how you can make fighters fight. You have to put them in a position where they have to earn their next fight. If they don't win and win in impressive fashion, then they know that they're not going to get to the next bag. But if you give them a huge bag and promise them another huge bag afterwards, they're not going to fight. But also, I think you need to have fighters that really just want to fight. Have to have people that really enjoy fighting. And I don't know whether those guys enjoy fighting so much as they enjoy talking about fighting, you know? Jay Mills in the building. Thank you, bro. Jay Mills says, doing my part, blessings and respect, Martin in the chat. Thank you, brother. It means a lot, brother. Nuke the Duke said, how does UFC get prime time over boxing on Mexican Independence Day? Well, you get that on Mexican Independence Day because Mexican people get treated like black folk. Man, I got in an argument with my dad yesterday. I love my dad to death, man, but my dad and I always argue about politics because he makes me watch CNBC, MSNBC, and all of them. So I am naturally more inclined to be a liberal person than I am to be conservative. I'm much more likely to be a Democrat than I am a Republican, or at least I used to be. Can't say what I would do now. But man, I listen to so much propaganda, dude. But when that Mexican senator got arrested, I was like, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. What's up, Vel? I'm like, man, you never know what's really going on with that stuff. Maybe give them a decent guaranteed purse and maybe a bonus as an incentive, extra cash for KOs. On the real, put cuffs on them, bro. Man, it's getting scary out there, man. It's getting scary out there, bro. But yeah, man, I told my dad, I was like, yeah, he got treated like a black man. That dude forgot he was Mexican, is what happened. And I hate it, dog. No joke, bro. This whole ICE situation is a bad situation. I do, though, have to point out, though, that black folk told you. Black folk keep telling you, and you don't want to listen. You only want to partner with black folk when it works for you. Other than that, hey, man, Rodney King deserved it. Boxing fans are tired of seeing fighters stinking up the ring. Yeah, I guarantee you, bro. Yeah, it's not our fight. It's not my fight. It's not. Even though I have to tell you, though, man, that I got a lot of Mexican people that I got a lot of respect for, man. And it's a very ugly situation, man. But, it's been an ugly situation our entire lives as well. We have to worry about ICE raids all the time, except for they're just called regular police officers. You know what I mean? We have to worry about that. So you guys now have to worry about it. But I feel bad because they got they got the military deployed, the National Guard, they got the Marines, ICE, the whole thing out there. It's crazy, man. You said, I don't have any immigrants in my family in any database. Time for them to hold their. No, I don't have any family members in any database. Not any of those databases anyway. I got some family members in some databases, but not immigrant data. Most wanted lists. Yeah, I got some family members on some most wanted lists. I heard Canelo is sparring Boots for. I don't know if that's true or not, man. I believe half of what I see and none of what I hear. Jay Mills said, who is holding down the chat, said, happy birthday, Barbara D. Happy birthday, Barbara D. Happy birthday. Yeah, but I think boxing is really just waiting on the Gervonta Davis fight news. And it's really unfortunate that It's really unfortunate that we have this separation between what the media is talking about and what real boxing fans need. We got to get rid of this the U.S. media being the international media and feeling that they have to represent everybody in the world, but they don't focus on fighters in their own countries. If we could get a more concerted effort from the boxing media to represent American fighters and Black American fighters specifically, come on, man. I've been following you for years. Thanks for your service, brother. Thank you, Garrett Newsom. Yeah, I mean, that's what we need. We need the media to support American fighters, man, and stop trying to sell us foreign fighters all the time. And then American boxing is going to be good. But look how they're doing the timing of this fight tells you that they're timing it for international television, which is going to ruin the experience for American fight fans. To the extent that people want to see that fight, the time of that fight itself is going to ruin is going to prevent people from wanting to see that fight. Oscar has finally said something I agree, man. Oscar's been cooking for a year now. Oscar De La Hoya has been cooking for a solid year now on his clapback Thursdays. Absolutely. Thank you, Jay Mills. Let me put this link in here, man. Hopefully I can get some callers on today. It's the grind of boxing continues. Melvin Poston Jr. said defense need that support, and these guys got to be ready to fight the best and whoever is up next, not that cherry picking. I agree. The fight will be on when people are out and about with their families. Exactly. I don't understand, but I know why you're doing it. You're doing it so that people in the UK can see the fight. They're doing it so that people in Europe can see the fight. So they're looking at it from a global point of view. The only problem with that global point of view is that time zones are very real things. So you cannot satisfy anybody on any particular time scale. You know, UK boxing is boring and more an orchestrated brawl than good boxing outside of Lennox and a few others. They don't compete against Western Hemisphere. They're not as good. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. They're not Eastern Europe. I mean, Eastern European fighters are very good. I think the thing with Eastern European fighters, though, is that they don't turn pro till very, very late. So you don't really get to see them develop in their entire career. But there's significantly better, very, very good fighters in Eastern Europe. I think the fighters in the UK are good. They'll come out with some good fighters here and there. You know, I thought Josh Taylor was a legitimately good fighter. Josh Taylor was just weight draining himself too much and should have moved up. You know, but now they got some good fighters. They've got, I think Tyson Fury is a bit of a fraud, but I think Tyson Fury is a solid fighter. You know, should be considered a very solid fighter. And obviously Alexander Usyk is a very, very solid fighter out of Ukraine. And Lomachenko was a beast out of Ukraine. What's that guy's name? Dmitry Pirog. Dmitry Pirog was a monster. Vasily Zhurov was a monster. Both those Klitschko's were monsters. Camp 11 said, why would Turkey be trying to satisfy Europe for an American and Mexican fighter? Everything Turkey does makes no sense. That's because Turkey. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that dude. But I would like for him to get out of American boxing very much. Like very, very much I want to get him out of boxing. I think we should downsize boxing, man. Like, man, I need more Jamal. I need more Jermell. I need more Laura. I hate that Danny Garcia's basically done. Errol and Gervonta. Man, Jaron. Fanon, you know some boxing. I expect you to know some of them names. Oh, Shushu Bang. No disrespect. Why wouldn't you expect me to know, man? I watch boxing. Heck yeah, man. I'm a big boxing fan if you didn't notice. I'm a big boxing fan. My problem is that a lot of times the media turns me off from fighters. So it's harder for me to like really enjoy some fighters during their career because of the exaggeration going on with the in the media. That's, you know what I mean? That's the problem, is that I want to enjoy Vasily Lomachenko, but when Bob Arum says that he's better than everybody but a young Ali, it's like, all right, man, can I make up my mind for that? But again, Bob Arum has got to promote to a massive amount of people. He's not promoting to me. So I understand where he's coming from, or where they're coming from with that stuff. I just want these fights to go on, man, so we have more exciting things to talk about. You know what I mean? That's where I am. He's from the Middle East. He's doing it for his people who don't give two fucks about it. Yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is, man. People got to do what they got to do. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's just a BS fight, bro. Like, I'm for real, man. I don't feel any motion on this fight. Exactly, Fanon. They're saying anything to promote their guys, regardless of how outlandish the hype is. But it's kind of their job. You know what I mean? That's their job to do that. It's just their job to do it. But of everything that man said, when he said he was taking calls with Al Heyman and those guys, that means I think that we have a real future, man. Where the future can get better. I think the loss of Showtime, man, is still reverberating in boxing because they had the best boxing program. Showtime had the best boxing program, hands down, I think, this century. I think that they wound up. When was it when Showtime Boxing passed up HBO Boxing? He said Loma bet. No, he didn't say he was better than a young Ali. He said he was the best fighter since a young Ali. So he didn't say he was better than a young Ali. He just said he was better than George Foreman, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao. Just go on and on and on. Andre Ward. I don't think he was better than Andre Ward. You know, my personal opinion, I don't see that he was better than Andre Ward. However, I do think that he was a great fighter. Virgil Wembley in the building with the $5 holler says, UFC is dying, millions in debt, have no stars now. How is Crawford Canelo on a 2 p.m. time slot ahead of a UFC card with fighters no one heard of before? I'm telling you, they're trying to tear down boxing. I'm telling you, Turkey Al-Sheikh is trying to tear down American boxing. He's trying to, I have to keep going back to the diabolical nature of this crap. I think they're trying to shut down American boxing. They don't want these fights to do well, and they want to drive the interest down. I mean, that's the only logical thing that I could come up with, man. You know what I mean? That's the only logical thing that I can come up with. T Zizzle said Showtime around 18 and 19. No, I think they came up a little bit before that. A little bit before that. When Roy stopped fighting, HBO was done. Yeah, no, HBO was really done when Floyd left because they were such arrogant jackasses. Jim Lampley, and I don't mind Jim Lampley being back. I'm actually kind of happy to hear Jim Lampley call fights because he has an iconic voice. You know what I mean? And by the way, I met Jim Lampley, and I thought Jim Lampley was a nice guy when I met Jim Lampley. So I'm happy that Jim Lampley is back, but back with a little less arrogant than he became. Because towards the end of the time that of HBO, Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant's arrogance was palpable. So it was like, man, you guys think you're running boxing, man. Slow up. Every time the media thinks they're running boxing, bro, it's a problem. And the media has been trying to run boxing for a very long time, man. Larry Merchant was a byproduct of a bygone age, is what Larry Merchant is. Larry Merchant came from the school of Jimmy Cannon, and he came from the school of who are those other writers? Like Norman Mailer and those guys. I think he's like a literary type of writer. So that's kind of like he was one of those old school guys at that time. And yeah, he still had all that talking down the black people thing that they did and all that confrontational stuff that they did. You know? No, I think Showtime took over for HBO several years before that. I think they did it several years before that. Whenever it was that Floyd Mayweather Jr. signed that Showtime contract is really when when HBO lost to Showtime. The first really big signing of Showtime, though, was Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson was fighting on Showtime when Mike Tyson was with Don King. I'm pretty sure. Troy Hutch says, Rod, facts, trying to turn boxing into a UFC model, but it'll never work. Boxing been around too long. Dana was able to monopolize the MMA market so he could pay those guys pennies. Yeah, and the MMA is failing, bro. I don't even know of any big MMA fighters. Like, I don't know of any big name. Like, the days of Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor and all that stuff, I don't hear any of the same push for the UFC that we've seen that we had back then. But I told you then that was what was going to happen, because it's a fledgling thing, and they're not able to keep their fighters long enough because their fights are so brutal. Like, I mean, seriously, man, look, if you do this no running rule, I'm telling you, you're going to have fighters get real short careers. I'm no joke. You're going to see fighters with real short careers with brain damage. Did Floyd fight Corrales on Showtime? No, I think he fought him on HBO. I think he fought Corrales on HBO. I'm pretty sure he fought him on Diego Corrales on HBO. But let me look that up because I don't want to be wrong. The great Diego Corrales. I think, let me see though. I don't know. That would be interesting if he did though. No, it was on HBO. No, it was on HBO. No, it was not. It was on HBO. For now, the streets are saying UFC minions in the red. Are saying UF minions in the red. I mean, of course they are. Look, man, that's why they're trying to so desperately get into the real sport called boxing. And why we need to defend our American boxers. So it's so important for us. Martin O'Malley was one of their top guys, and he just got beat down. Look, all of those guys, what's his name? The thin African guy, Israel, something like Adalier, something like that. He lost. Ronda Rousey lost. Amanda Nunes lost. Holly Holmes lost. I mean, I don't mind that they lose. I'm just saying only type of UFC fight I'm interested in is the women's fights. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name, but him. Yeah, the African dude. Rod Walker said Floyd Mayweather versus Diego Corrales was held 2021, was televised on Showtime. No, it wasn't. It was not on Showtime. It's on HBO. I'm looking at the event. Because he fought Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo fought on the undercard. It was in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, January 20th of 2001. That's what it says on BoxRock. There was HBO. And, hey, what up, Phoenix? What up, man?
Oh, what's up, man? Talking about HBO's boxing history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and how they fucked it up when Peter King came in and started trying to put all those little men fight on. That's when Monster Inoue first came to the U.S. Remember they had they thought they had the Superfly cards.
Man, I never watched not one of those. Never. that was not for me. I remember.
Yes, sir.
They went out 2018. I want to say that which fight was it that Canelo had in 2018? I think was it the second Golovkin fight or the first one?
I think the first one.
Yeah, because it was after that one. I don't know if they had a few more fights after that, but shoot, I think after that Canelo switched to the zone, and HBO ain't really had anybody else who was really bringing in any viewership for boxing at that point. I think Manny Pacquiao was just about done, and I know that's around the time I think that Top Rank started working with.
Yeah, 2017 and 2018. It was Gennady Golovkin was in 2017. It was both September of 2017 and September of 2018.
Okay, yeah. So after that, Canelo started fighting on his own. So like HBO, they was pretty much done at that point. That was the year when they announced that they was done out the game for boxing. So Yeah, man, like that right there. I remember being mad at Top Rank because of that ESPN Plus deal. Because whenever it first came out, man, they was about to run into problems with the rematch for Wilder and Fury because Bob Arum wanted Wilder to go ahead and sign with Top Rank first, and then do two or three fights to kind of help uh bring some attention to that ESPN Plus thing. And then after that, they were saying, yeah, after them two or three fights, then we can go ahead and make the rematch with Fury. I was like, man, if y'all don't get on with that,
Hmm.
because that's one of the things for people. Because like I remember back then, people looked at Top Rank the same way they looked at 50 Cent's, SMS promotions and JV's Rock Nation. Like, if you go over and sign with Top Rank, then you probably not going to go anywhere. And on top of that, you probably going to end up, with your career in the trash can because you're not really going to be seen. And that's why we was confused, like when we seen fighters keep on renewing their contract with Top Rank time after time again. Like Tim Bradley, he renewed like what twice. We saw Manny Pacquiao kept renewing. We seen Bud kept renewing. We seen Shakur decide to go ahead and start his career over there. Like all the people that we was hoping to fight other people, like we wanted to see Terence Crawford and Errol Spence and Keith Thurman and all them, but like he went ahead and kept on sticking things out with Top Rank. And then like same thing with Tim Bradley. So it's just like, man, when it came to Top Rank, if there was a fight that you wanted to happen, then it's like, yeah, you might as well just stop wishing for it if one of the fighters involved in that potential matchup ended up signing over there. So people wasn't really happy with Top Rank for a minute from like 2017 to 2022. They didn't have high hopes whenever they seen people was signing over there. I know I for sure didn't.
Mm. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
oh, oh, that Canelo and Crawford in the afternoon. Man, I tell you.
Man.
Hey, I don't know if this is true or not, but I seen some posts talking about yeah, UK people who use Fire Stick or whatever to try to watch the fight, they're gonna get fined £1,000.
1,000 pounds if they get caught with the wrong stream. Man, I'm okay with that. If they can find a way to force people to pay for these fights, I'm okay with that. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, ain't
fire,
nobody gonna pay
I
for it.
don't know how happy y'all in this audience is gonna be though, because I know a whole bunch of y'all Fire Stick gang like a
Yeah,
champ.
good. Netflix right now, like, what, 24.99, 24.99 a month. And so, the fact that it's included, I haven't seen nothing about no pay-per-view price. So I done looked it up. Like
No, they said it's
opened up
not
the
pay per
app.
view. They said it's free.
Yeah.
I'll take
So
it.
that mean they're gonna crack down on the people sharing their account passwords too.
Man, I think they've already been doing that. I can't think that they're going to be doing too much out of order for this fight, though. I can't believe it.
Man,
It's
it,
it's going to be free on
is
Netflix. I wonder how it
is
just that's cool though. I'll take it. I like free.
yeah, I'm cool.
Better than paying that $80-90 for that garbage we paid for on the zone.
I guess they're hoping that they'll make up for it with ticket sales for the press conference.
Hey, um what fights do you think Golden Boy and PBC could actually make? Who does Golden Boy have?
Well,
They have
Golden Boy, I think
yeah, who do they have?
I know that basically the
They got
Latino fighters that
Ryan.
people care about.
They got Ryan. They got Ryan. So maybe they could do the Ryan Rowley rematch. They've
And
got
then they got
they got Ortiz. They got Ortiz. They got Virgil Ortiz
yep. That's
and
another one.
154. And Sean Vitale said yesterday, like they said, boots to 154 and put a question mark after it. So it's
Yep.
making me believe that there could be conversations about him going up there because that's one fight I
Well,
think is a really good fight, man.
well, it's
The
because
Virgil
Eddie Hearn was
Ortiz.
on a Eddie Hearn was on an interview talking about that. So he was saying that after this last fight with Stan Young, he was just saying like the doctors was looking at Boots and saying basically like, yeah, the way that he be draining himself and everything, he's probably operating 50% of what he could because he draining himself so much. So Eddie was saying that his team was saying, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go to 54.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move. I think that's the thing to do now is go to one is for Boots to go to 154. And then it's like Boots, Virgil Ortiz. Because Boots, I don't know what Boots is going to be. I don't know if Boots is going to be. I don't know whether or not. I don't think DAZN had. I don't know if they have anything up there. Eddie Hearn doesn't have any 154 pounders, does he? Because you have Top Rank is going to have the WBO and Xander Zayas. Then WBC is the Zoo and Fundora fight. The WBA is the WBA vacant? I don't know. I don't think Bud still has that. Can somebody answer whether or not the WBA is still vacant? But you got Jermell. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Bud's gonna vacate those.
Well, if it's not vacated, it will be vacated. But then you got Jermell that's coming back down to 150. You got Jermell that's coming to 154 as well. So that's a lot of fights down there at 154 for Jerron. How do you see those fights? How do you see the fights playing out if Jerron's at 154?
We'll have to see because, like, I know Virgil Ortiz is probably like the most interesting one, and I think like the other guy that Golden Boy got at, that's if Boots leave Eddie, but I know Golden Boy they got what's his name, Conwell.
Oh yeah, Charles Conwell. Is it Charles Conwell?
Yeah, I believe so. I know Golden Boy got them, Ortiz and Conwell. That's the two people I could think of at 154 that Golden Boy really got peripheral. Matchroom, I'm not sure who was on their roster, but yeah, for me personally, though, I don't think Boots should stay with Eddie peripheral because I don't know. It's just this thing with Eddie and kind of like the same with Bob Arum, where it's like they don't really know how to push Black American fighters. I mean, Eddie Hearn got Anthony Joshua, but and he doing a job with Joshua. Joshua is probably like the guy that people know the most on Matchroom Boxing periphery. And so
okay. So the champions are, just so you know, IBF is Bakram Martuzaliev, and you've got Erickson Lubin, and Connor Ben is in there. And then the IBF is Terence Crawford, but you got Jonas Tellez as the interim, Jermell and Reset, Jesus Ramos, Israel Madmarov, Terrell Gushaw down at number 11. And the WBC, you got Sebastian Fundora and Virgil is the interim. But you got Boyachuk, Ramos, Zoo, Thurman at number 8, Lubin. So, and then you got Xander Zayas. WBO is vacant, but they've got Terence Crawford as the interim. What they got him as the interim for?
Well, because Boots, he could probably go up, challenge for WBO immediately.
He's not the WBO. It's the W. He's the IBF of the WBA. No,
IBF WBA. Oh wait, that's the one that
WBO is what Brian Norman Jr. has.
Okay,
Brian
so
Norman
he might be able to weasel in there though, because you know how it is with some of them sanctioning bodies. Let me go ahead and make a petition for it, but I don't know how long it would take for him to get into place to go ahead and fight for that. But I think he could probably get in with Connor Ben if he's still with Eddie. If he decided to go ahead and stay with Matchroom, he could probably go ahead and do.
They gonna hand him up. They gonna hand up Connor Ben.
I wouldn't complain.
Ben, man, I don't think he wants to give up Connor Ben like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he gonna have to eventually.
He's gonna have to eventually, man. They kept him going through all that steroid stuff. Pull out banner says Xander fight for the WBO, the belt Fundora drop. Yeah, I know Xander is fighting for that. I know Xander's fighting for that.
Speaking of titles, what you think about Abdullah Mason and that Sam Noakes, or however you say his name?
Noakes, is that official?
That's what I seen on Boxing Scene. That's the one they're talking about for the vacant WBA.
Okay, I love it. Yeah. But hopefully for the vacant, not the vacant WBA, the vacant IBF.
WBO.
Oh,
the one that Keyshawn just said. Because I think that's a good one.
I like it, but it's basically the same thing Sunchild said is mandated. That's cool, but it's basically the same thing that the WBO did with Keyshawn Davis and having Keyshawn Davis fight Barincic. I haven't seen the
Yeah,
guy Nokia's fight, so I really can't speak on it. But more than like again, every time that every time Top Rank gives their young fighters a champion, they're 90% sure that they're gonna win. So it's good that he gets a title, but he'll still, in my book, still be, you know, I don't think he's still not gonna be the man in that division, even though that happens.
yeah. Because Sam
You know,
knows he's either I think his record is similar to Abdullah's though. Because I think he got like 17 or 18 fights and then like won all but two by knockout. And so, maybe that's the thing that they banking on. His knockout rate about the same as Abdullah's. Abdullah, I think he's 19-0 with 17 knockouts, if I remember correctly. And so, his KO rate sitting at about 88%. So this could be a thing where it's like, yeah, we got two power punchers coming in and all this and that, and maybe it's kind of a step up. Again, I don't know this Sam Noak, whatever his name is. I don't even look at him. I just seen that the name popped up, and that's who they're talking about Abdullah fighting. So maybe it's a thing where they're like, okay, this could be a test for him because the guy he got power, he got power, he got the knockout. So maybe
nah,
they're
he's gonna
thinking,
get
yeah,
his ass laid the fuck out. He's a UK fighter.
yeah, that's the big thing. There is like he's a
Eh,
UK fighter, so is he like super duper UK, or is he one of them exceptions? I don't know. Because again, he only got 17 fights. So looking at that, it's like, well, maybe they're hoping that this shows like a fight for Abdullah to kind of showcase some things. Because if the dude is slower than him, then Abdullah can go ahead and go in there and do what he wants. And the only thing you have to worry about is being defensively sound, so we don't get clipped by some random shot. Outside of that, I wouldn't think that he'd have too many things to worry about unless again, like this dude is just like some random anomaly in UK boxing to just come out and show out. So unless it's something like that, I'm seeing like Abdullah go in, do what he wants, get to showcase some things, maybe even work on some things, and then go ahead and walk away with the title. But outside of that, no, I don't got no high hopes for this Nokic guy unless, like I said, it's an anomaly. Because you know how UK boxing is. They get
man, they are
they get
some
one
days they're extremely
one
so-so.
noteworthy fighter every 15 years.
Something like that. Something like that. And most of them are from Jamaica. So even the ones that are from the UK ain't really from there. I
I
just
know,
don't
right?
think I don't think they just don't have the talent pool, man. They just don't have the talent pool. Don't have the
Speaking
talent pool.
speaking
Go
of
ahead.
talent pools, ain't that what they're trying to do for this undercard on Bud and Canelo?
You ain't
Man,
seen a list of the fighters?
I seen the list that Turkey proposed or whoever it was, and the only name on there that really meant something was Abdullah.
That's it. Man,
And
I
it's
don't know.
funny to me.
Man.
Hey, they out there really asking for volunteers. Hey, who wants to be on this card? Hit me up. I seen Jermaine Ortiz got himself put online for that.
Got you Jermaine Ortiz got on what? In line for
Oh,
what?
oh, hey, because Turkey was saying, hey, if y'all on here, you want to call me, go ahead, we set something up, right? But what ended up happening was, it's right after Turkey said he don't want to see no more Tom and Jerry, and Jermaine Ortiz talking about here I am, like bro, we seen your fight with Tio, and then we see, I mean, he's fought what I think maybe once or twice since he fought Tio, but nobody
Yeah,
knows.
exactly. And that's one of the reasons he's probably not getting fights. Is because the way he
Yeah,
fought Tio. It's the way
and
he
I
fought
don't,
Tio.
and the fact that it's like, hey, we don't want to see Tom and Jerry. He thought surely it couldn't be me. That's the part that
No.
got me.
We know Tom and G know for sure who Tom and Jerry is. Tom and Jerry
Oh
is
yeah,
Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. I don't even know
without doubt.
really if those are the two people that he's talking about for sure. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. And what a great fall. Literally, bro, who said it was a Deem? Deem said this is all Bill Haney's fault, bro.
I agree.
Bill Haney, Bill Haney has destroyed boxing, bro. Dill, seriously, man, Bill
Man,
Haney is I can't remember what Dean's argument for that was, man. But he's like, look, man, this is all Bill's argument because all these people are all following the same bullshit playbook that Bill Haney copied off of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And so now we got a bunch of guys that are running around, floating around the ring, trying to get style points all fight, and it's going to be good. Now you got to have a pushback on it, but
you know
it
that.
is what it is, man. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm just not the biggest fan of what's going on in boxing right now, man.
Oh, me neither. I agree with Dean. That's why a few months ago I was saying like, man, I'm starting to feel like Shakur is copying the Haney playbook. You know, and it's not just them. It's like other fighters who's up and coming. And it seemed to be like all the black fighters that's like buddy with you know Shakur, Bud, Keyshawn Davis, Raymond Ford. Like the people in that circle, and Devin, of course. Like they all following that same thing. Like, and it's funny. It's funny because I seen Bill on an interview talking about it the other day. And man, the part that killed me was, hey, you could pick whatever side you want, but you have to tell the truth. It's like, nigga, you just got done lying. What you talking about?
Bill Haney's talking about
Like,
somebody need to tell the truth.
yeah, whatever side you want to pick, you gotta stay on the side of the truth. You gotta tell the truth, and that's what we gonna do here on this podcast. So, nigga, you just spent like the whole entire opening segment of the podcast telling lies out your ass. Like, what you talking about, Bill? Like, man, this dude got no shame, none. Like, this is insanity. And the problem is like the guy who was interviewing him actually told him like, yo, people skipping the pretty boy Floyd phase and then wanting to go straight to the Money Mayweather phase. And you know what Bill said? He said
What
pretty
he
boy
say?
ain't doing. He said pretty boy ain't doing nothing. Pretty boy didn't really make any difference. And I was like, are you serious, Bill? He said pretty boy ain't really fought nobody and really did nothing. I'm like, come on. What is you like? Bill don't know boxing. And it's crazy for him to say that after just saying that he is student of the sport. And man, if he was a student of the sport, then you would know what Pretty Boy Floyd was doing. I can't believe that this shit even came out this man's mouth. But then again, we do know he be lying. We do know he be lying. Where there's a bill, there's a lie. Kind of like what they say, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a bill, there's a lie. And so this dude was out here just capping, capping, capping. I turned the interview off immediately. I heard him say that. It was about 5 minutes in. I'm like, nah, I ain't about to sit through the rest of this, 55 minutes and listen to this nigga lie like this because that's absurd to me. But it's the thing. Like people really do skip the Pretty Boy Floyd stage and want to go straight to Money May. Like they only see Floyd,
Yeah.
from
Oh, here's a
from
link.
the
Two
Oscar
cent.
fight.
Am I on mute still? I shouldn't be on mute
No,
still.
you good. You
I
good
should be
now. You
good. There
good
you go.
now.
2 cent. The idea. Hey, you're on mute, Phoenix. The
Oh
idea
yeah.
that Pretty Boy Floyd didn't do nothing is so ridiculous, man. It's just crazy. Where there's a bill, there's a lie. What up? What up, 2 cent?
What's going on for now? What up,
Can
Phoenix
you
the
hear me, 2 cent?
assassin? Yeah, can y'all hear
Yo
me?
yo. Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you
we
two
know
sitting.
what's
I
up.
hear you for now.
Can y'all
Y'all
hear
hear
me?
me?
No. Yeah, we can hear you for now.
I cannot hear y'all.
We hear you.
Hold on 1 second, man. I must be something wrong with me. Let me see something.
Oscar fried them yesterday, didn't he, Phoenix?
Hello?
Yo yo.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you can. Oh, so let me shut up. Y'all go talk because something's going wrong with me. I can't hear something. Let me work this out.
Okay, okay.
Go out and come back. Y'all tell Fanon go out and come back in.
Or maybe it might be his audio output
Okay, you
source.
hear
It
me?
might have
Can you hear
switched.
anybody else?
I hear everybody. Do you hear me, Fanon?
Can you
Yeah.
hear 2 cent? Because I can't
Yeah,
hear
I
two
hear
cent.
I hear Toussaint, I hear Fanon. Hey, Toussaint, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna come out and come back in. Oh, he left.
You hear me all right though, right?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
O- Okay, so this ain't to hear everybody. Okay.
I just
So it might
hopped
be
on. I
his
don't even know what y'all talking about. What's the conversation? I just seen him
Bill
talking
Hand.
about Oscar in the in the title, man. He went off
Yeah,
on them, and and
he
you know
did.
I've been asking the same questions, right? Like, why is Dana White and Turkey Al handling the quote unquote biggest fight of the century? Does that make
Are
any
they
sense to
really
anybody?
handling it?
Mm, I mean, and it to me, it's like Turkey has put on flop after flop after flop after flop. Like
I'm gonna
I
start
don't
calling his
get it.
ass Flapjack. He out there flipping, flopping like he's selling falafel or something. Like this dude Turkey, man. I tell you, how is first off Canelo and Bud being the fight of the century? Didn't y'all just have the fight card of the century earlier this year? You forgot to leave the fight of the century on. Like,
So
come
that was
on.
the fight card of the century, Phoenix. This is the
Yeah,
fight of the
but
century.
that's I know, and that's the problem. How you leave the fight of the century off the fight card of the century? Maybe that's why it did so bad. like, like what's going on there? Like, okay, so like he lying somewhere. Either that was the pre-fight card of the century, or this one is. But at the same time, it's like, well, if this the fight of the century, why are you even looking for anything to put on the undercard? They shouldn't need an undercard for the fight of the century. But then again, maybe the fight card of the century was actually the undercard. They just aired it 3 months earlier, or whatever. So that was the prelude to it, and they got to work their way up. Like, nah. Like this will go down in boxing as like the longest build up to a main event ever, because they don't have the fight card of the century. They got the Fatal Fury. All of them is undercard fights. Now we still waiting on the main event here in September. Like, I
I
mean,
mean,
come
you
on,
a
Turkey.
Turkey paying undercard fighters, B-side fighters, millions of dollars, and then upset that they not entertaining and performing how he wants to. There's so much to say about this topic. Like, I'm gonna be dropping a bunch of videos. Y'all make sure y'all sub to my channel because
Oh yeah, I be
Eddie
watching.
Eddie said a lot of things. And this is what I heard Eddie say that I thought that was important that a lot of y'all might have missed. He said basically he was saying but Oscar was basically saying Dana White not really doing the event. His face is on it. Eddie said Turkey does whatever Turkey wants to do. Because my question was, how the hell is Turkey working with all these promoters and he's this unsuccessful? Like, ain't nobody in his ear. Ain't nobody like maybe you shouldn't have a fight in the middle of the street that nobody can see in New York. Nobody told him that. So Eddie said Turkey gonna do whatever Turkey want to do. And that's why these cars and stuff have been turning out like this. And so the Shakur Stevenson, I know I'm all over the place, y'all, but I got a lot to say.
No, you good.
The Shakur Stevenson ring, they've made it smaller.
Yep. See, and I agree with you, because that's why I was saying a few days ago. Like, okay, he got all these promoters over there, like basically everyone except Al Haymon. And that comes with their matchmakers and all this. So I don't think it's a fact that he don't got people around him who know boxing. I think he just don't care, and I think that kind of lines up with what Eddie is saying, that he does whatever he wants. He don't care what all these matchmakers and promoters are saying. He's like, nah, I want your
And why are
fighters,
you
and y'all gonna do
complaining?
what I say.
That's what I'm saying, Phoenix. You can't complain about not getting the results you want, but you're not listening to the people that know how to get the results that you want. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so a lot of people are saying, well, PBC is not. I watched a YouTuber. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's basically like, PBC is not rewarding those kind of fights, and Top Rank is not rewarding those type of fighters. And my thing is, PBC and Top Rank didn't come out and make this grand announcement. They made the
Yep.
changes they needed to make, and they match make the fights that they want to make to get the entertaining fights that they want to see. They don't make fighters fight the way they want them to fight to see the fight that they want to see. They don't make the ring smaller to force a fighter fight a way that they want them to fight. Like, none of this is cool. And ain't Shakur Stevenson the A side? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. It's all over the place. I just can't rock
Yeah.
with it.
Well, see, being the A side of a bad situation ain't really much or nothing. So that's the whole problem for Shakur right there. But as far as Turkey goes, like for me, it's just like, okay, man. you in a situation where you got potentially one of the fights that could be the biggest just because it's a black guy versus a Mexican. And you know how those normally do for pay-per-view events in boxing or for turnout, but at the same time, it's one that nobody wants to see because people wanted to see Boots and Bud. They didn't care about Bud fighting Canelo. People wanted to see Canelo and David Benavidez or a rematch with Bivol would be second place for Canelo as far as fights could go. Nobody cared about Bud and Canelo. But to Dean's point, like I was saying, and he brought it up too. Bud said on interview that the first one he did with Ring, when he was slumped in the armchair, and they was recording on a cell phone, and the camera was shaky, and they only had one mic, so they had to pass it back and forth. You remember that sad interview? That was the one he was saying. Bill's the one who basically told me, "Hey man, look at Canelo. You can go
I
up
got
and
a
do that. That's your fight." So it's like, okay, that's the only reason that this fight happening because Bud listened to Bill, decided to hold Turkey's hand and say, "Hey, I can fight Canelo." Nah, like we need more than that. That don't resonate with the fans because the fans have been asking for something else, and we've seen throughout history recently, like, okay, we've seen what happened when we didn't get Wilder and Joshua to fight. Now look at both of them. You know, we've seen what happened with what Javante and Devin, because now look at Devin. And then it could end up being the same thing for the fight with Shakur and Tank, because look what Shakur doing right now. Not every fight can be like Floyd and Pacquiao, where it was built up for 5 years. Both of them are looking spectacular because they were able to. At the same time, it's not like Floyd and Pacquiao was taking easy opponents.
But this fight
Whenever
wasn't built up. It was just out the blue. It was like, you know what?
exactly,
I want to fight Canelo, and now it's the biggest fight in boxing. No, the biggest fight in boxing is built up. It's anticipation for it. It's you know what I'm saying? Like this is not.
oh, I know what you're saying, and that's the problem. Not every fight can marinate like Pacquiao and Floyd because not every fighter got that. Not every fighter got that. Like not every fight that looked big on paper is going to be big in the box office. And that's the problem right here. Like people are not caring about who a lot of these guys are fighting. And so it's like, okay, you fighting people we don't care about. And you guys don't even want to fight the people we want to see you fight. Why are we gonna care if y'all fight each other at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday when we're gonna be busy barbecuing and grilling, maybe chilling at the mall and getting ready to watch some college football or something, or basketball or whatever. Like they're not paying attention for that. They're not. So it's just one of them things where it's like Turkey feel like because he got all the money and because he don't really have to worry too much since it's not his that it's coming from. It's coming from the government, and he just throwing it at him. It's like, yeah, I give you the money, you do what I say. I'm,
Yep.
I'm gonna have ring card niggas with Tim's on, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it.
They got
Hey,
on
what up,
ripped off.
Greg?
They got on ripped off. They had on ripped off cut off shorts, jean shorts.
Hey,
I
what's
don't
up,
I
real
don't care
quick?
if they have to put the
What's
girl
going
in the
on,
potato
Greg?
sack.
Hold on one
What's up?
second. What's up, Greg Hackett?
I'm
What up,
chilling. What's
Greg?
going on? How y'all feeling, man?
Good,
Chilling,
brother. What's
chilling.
on your mind, man?
Nah, I'm just listening. Like I be having like so many different opinions. I think I think it's a lot of shots being thrown at Turkey, but it's like he doing what everybody else was doing. If you look at boxing, every 5 years somebody take over. It's just that he came out of nowhere. Um, and we know that he don't have the power, but he is spending the money. These dudes just don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? And how these fights are turning out, it's just simply because they don't, what I mean, everybody trying to think about their next check and whatever else, but it just come down to them not wanting to fight. The Shakur fight with Tank should be made, but it's somebody don't want to fight. That the money will be there. Bud and Boots, somebody don't want to fight. The money will be there. I don't really think it's like all on the promoters. You know what I mean? I think the fighters don't want to fight because they thinking about making the next check because they still got life outside of boxing. You know what I mean?
That's
For sure.
interesting that you say that because I said once Turkey get involved, people are gonna see it's not always the money. These fighters just legitimately don't want to fight each other, and Turkey is gonna expose that. And he's absolutely exposed that you can't just come and throw money at people because it's not. always about the money. They could say it was about the money because there was no remedy for that. But now that there's a remedy for that, it's kind of like you said, some of these fighters, they don't want to fight.
And the problem is they want the most reward for the least amount of effort. That's the thing, because like otherwise, why wouldn't we see them fight each other? That's the thing that people I think is kind of skipping over is like when you look at some of the fighters who made it big, like they was taking fights that was actually interesting. Like when like Floyd in recent years has been the biggest example of like pay per view success because after Oscar De La Hoya, damn near every fight he had was over 1 million for pay per views sold, right? But look at what he was doing on the build up. Like people cared about seeing him. Like his first title fight, Gennaro Hernandez, and then working his way up. People cared to see him fight Jose Luis Castillo, and he did it twice. And then we got his fight with Corrales, like fights that people was actually interested in. But a lot of these guys, they're coming up, they're becoming champions. Because like, until the fighter becomes a champion, you know who they fight. And it's basically like the journeyman gatekeepers and some step up fights. But after they become a champion, if they're not fighting people that fans care about, that's when they're gonna settle into this thing where it's like, yeah, you fighting, but who is you fighting? Like Shakur, once he moved to 135, like for
Here it
real,
comes.
but being
But
honest, like
let me
looking at who
respond to
he's fought at
something Greg
135,
said.
I'll say this right quick, and then you go. Like Zepeda, right? Apart from Edwin De Los Santos, who you could maybe say was somebody credible for Shakur at 135, William Zepeda is basically like the first one at 135 for Shakur that people care about seeing him fight outside of tank. You know,
But
People,
I wanted to say to Greg too that I think Turkey should have some accountability for the way these fights are going. I think it's both ways because it's kind of like if let's say if a guy tries to talk to me, right, and he leads with his money, and he's going around talking to women, and he's leading with his money, and then he's upset when he's attracting gold diggers. So you got Turkey running around, he's leading with his money, and he's upset that he's attracting fighters that ain't trying to fight hard or go in the ring and quote unquote fight with pride because you're leading with your money. So they see you as a lick, like, oh, I can go over there and get these easy fights, just run around, the money gonna be guaranteed. He not even selling tickets, so I don't even gotta sell the fight. It's no incentive for them to go over there and quote unquote perform with pride, especially when we're just looking to get to the next big payday because it's already planned out. Let me just make it through this fight.
Yeah, but everybody started caring about money when Mayweather started saying he was the $100 million man. That's when everybody started, oh, this shit is about money. It's been about money for real, for real. But the thing is, he exploited it to a point where that's all people think about. People gonna think I'm silly for saying what I'm getting ready to say, right? Shakur, Shakur, for all the shit he get, he should be getting all the fights. But you know why guys don't want to get in there? Because he'll drop their stock. Why he'll drop their stock is because he's so smart in the ring and so sharp, he'll make you look like a fool. So therefore, they don't even want to get in the ring with him. That's not Turkey fault. Turkey, Turkey fault, like you said, is bleeding with that. But at the same time, what is he supposed to do in today's days and time? In today's days and time, when you meet a woman, they think you're supposed to buy them a brand new car. That's just how it is. These fighters think you're supposed
I
to give
don't
them.
know what women y'all meeting.
No, that ain't my woman. I'm just saying that's just what you seeing. It's just so much of that being exploited to the world that this is how you treat a woman. You buy her a house and a car the first week you meet her. That's what's being put out here. We know because we seen different errors. We know that that's not true. But at the same time, if he's grabbing the fighters that we want to see, and then he's trying to make the matches, and the guy's not taking the fights, that's not, you know what I mean? That's we really can't say that's his fault. Now, the money part, all right, yeah, I'm paying these guys graciously, but guess what? He would have never got Jared Anderson in the ring to fight Bacoli if he didn't pay him the way he paid him. And guess what? He didn't have to negotiate his first offer. What's the name? Jumped on it. Jared Anderson jumped right on it. So we would have never discovered Bacoli if he would have never made that fight. You know what I'm saying? So he trying to do his job. It's just that guys don't want to fight.
But let me ask you a
I,
question too. I hear people saying like people don't want to fight Shakur or this fighter because it'll drop their stock. I don't know if I believe that, right?
Hey,
Like,
let me pause your thought right there because I got a couple super chats I got to read. Big Dog Willie said Jake Paul versus Tank November 22nd, Las Vegas, MGM Fact. Big Dog Willie said Bud was please don't forget your thought, 2 Cent. Bud was ducked by Boots. That's why he's fighting Canelo. You're high. He's just trolling. Big Dog Willie says Tank ducked Devin Shakur, T.O. Tevin Farmer. Facts. Isaiah,
wow.
what up? Isaiah said Turkey is a baby daddy in boxing, overpaying. And Big Dog Willie back in the chat said Tankamaniacs want to be Canelo without heart. And to the guy that left a $20 super chat, Cash App, Mangus in the building said, great show. Thank you for the $20 holler, brother. Greatly
Oh,
appreciated, brother. And Thomas Hill said, Kerr versus Zapata, June 12th. Huge fight, facts, free promo. Yes, sir. Much love for that $10 holler, brother. Thank you, man. Go ahead, 2 Cent.
um, it's like, why are fighters afraid to lose to the quote unquote great fighter? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you got knocked out by Deontay Wilder, did that drop your stock? If you lose to Tank Davis, does that drop your stock? So if I lose to Shakur Stevenson, who's this great defensive fighter, nobody can touch him. Why am I worried about that dropping my stock? If I lose to Terence Crawford, does that
Mhm.
drop my stock?
Well, it
None of that. I don't.
depends.
You get what I'm saying? I don't understand why fighters feel
So
like it
I'm gonna
drops
tell
their
you.
stock.
So I'm gonna tell
I
you
know
why.
why.
I'm gonna tell you why it does drop your stock. Because if you look at the dates, how often are these fighters fighting? That's one. They're not fighting that much. Two is you could if Lamont would have got knocked out by Tank, that's it for Lamont. That's it for Lamont. They would have stripped him for the 130 title, and they would have pushed him to the bench. That's just how it. That's how it go. I know what we looking at, but this is how it go. If you go in there and you look like shit or you get outclassed, you're gonna get put on the shelf unless you tough enough, we can use you for a couple more fights. Those are the only guys who coming back, the guys who tough enough to like a Padley. Padley took the ass whooping, but we know he took it to fight on the short notice. So guess what? We'll bring him back. We'll do him a favor. We'll give him somebody he could beat, and then we'll bring him back again. They're going to recycle Padley. They're going to recycle just like they're trying to recycle Tevin Farmer right now. Those are the guys who get to come back. But they are fighting. If you pay attention, Tevin Farmer fought more often than some of our favorite stars. I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen him 3-4 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? So that's why guys don't want their stock to drop, because what happens is you made $2 million that night, you lose. Guess what? You making 300,000 the next fight.
yeah. See,
That's
the
Well, I
thing
mean, I'm
about the
just thinking
stock,
about the people that got knocked out by Tank. Shit,
nah, not like
Pitbull.
that. Because
Uh,
Pitbull still got title shots, and Roly still got title shots after Tank, and it wasn't even that
Mario,
long.
Pitbull
Mario.
didn't get
It
knocked
it
out. He's the guy that
it
you can use. He's the guy that you
it,
can
it,
recycle.
it depends. Roly got knocked out though, and he still got them title shots right after. But
All right, but
the
hold on,
thing
hold
is,
on, slow down. Talk about Rolly.
Yuriorkis Gamboa got stopped and got a title shot. Or didn't he?
But talk
Yeah, he
about
did.
Rolly. Talk about Rolly. What is he though? He's entertaining. Let's be real. Rolly's entertaining. He got a great look to him because he looks strong as shit and he's funny as hell. And he
I
gonna
know
get
that's
in
what I
there
was
and he
getting
gonna
to, and that's what I was
yeah.
getting to, because with losing to Shakur, you have that stigma of being in a
Hey,
boring
y'all good
fight.
for a few minutes? I'm
Yeah,
purposely
yeah.
trying to let y'all chop it up. I ain't jumping in. You good,
Okay, for
Greg? You
sure.
good? 2 Cent?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
We
I
good.
still
good.
got a little bit of time.
All right, cool. All right.
Yeah, because the thing with Shakur is, if you lose to him, it's not even just about getting outclassed, because you get known for being in a boring fight because of the stigma around it, and that's the difference
What?
between him.
Davis
'Cause I know,
Hunter blew up. That's all.
but
Davis Hunter the best fighter ever now.
yeah, but here's the thing though, because like I know a lot of people want to say like it was Floyd and his talk about the money, but like even though Floyd was defensively sound, like look at his fights though. Look how long he would sit on the ropes or in the corner, and then like the other dude would be teeing off on him, and he rolling their punches and stuff. Like he's staying right there. Or even like with Canelo, they was damn near stepping on each other's lead foot the entire night. I mean, it was in the middle of the ring, and he was making them miss and making them pay. Like Floyd will do that in the middle of the ring, or he'll sit on the ropes and let you tee off on him, or he'll have a fight like he did with Miguel Cotto, where he was standing there and going at it with him. But like his fight with Emmanuel Augustus, they was just going back and forth. Or look at his first fight with Maidana. They was over there like, and it was an ugly fight. But then he come back in the second one, he move around like. Or look at his fight with Berto. He was throwing combos and hitting Berto left, right, this and the third. So like with Floyd, you could see that, yeah, he was outclassing people, but he was still standing in there and looked like, okay, yeah, I can engage with you. With Shakur, it's different because instead of defense, like what we saw from Floyd, he will completely disengage to where one, he's rarely in position to be able to throw a counter shot because he's so far out of range, and his opponent can't do nothing because they can't cut off the ring. So then you end up with like, yeah, it's a complete stop in the action, and then it go back, and then it's gonna be like, okay, who's gonna throw first? Who's gonna move? Is the dude gonna settle down enough for Shakur to go ahead and tee off on him? And then it becomes boring because we're not seeing those exchanges, and that's the perception, right? So if you in a fight like that and you look bad and it's labeled as boring, it's like, oh, you're the guy that was in that boring fight. We don't want to see you, and that's why the fighter's stock would drop losing to Shakur, not because he beat them up or something, but because it's like, nah, you was in this boring fight. You couldn't make it interesting. You didn't cut off the ring. We need to find somebody else who's going to be more exciting in the ring, and that's that. I think that's why
And
people
I
is
can't
worried
agree
about
with that
fighting
though,
Shakur.
Phoenix. I can't agree with that. Two things. I'm responding to you, and then I got a question for Greg. I can't agree with that, Phoenix, because ever since De Los Santos lost to Shakur, every time it's a fight, we hear his name. Oh, why don't he fight De Los Santos? Why don't he fight De Los Santos? And I'm like, what? Why do I keep throwing De Los Santos' name out there like he didn't set a record for the least punches thrown in a fight? Like what?
He
Like what?
did.
What are we? What are we talking about? Even as far as Keyshawn not fighting him, and people saying now, oh, Keyshawn was scared of De Los Santos. It's like what? When did De Los Santos become the boogeyman?
It's
And
not.
nobody
It's
was
not. It's
saying.
not. It's not. It's not that he the boogeyman. It's that
I
people
mean, I'm
know.
exaggerating. I'm exaggerating,
No,
folks.
no, but you right. You right with what you saying. But the thing is, the reason you right is because motherfuckers know the truth. Della Santos will hurt you. Any man can hurt you, true. But Della Santos has a combination of speed and power, and he's very awkward. Where and when you looking at him face to face, some of that shit you can't see. If he catch you with that shit, he could hurt you. So that's why that's why he's one of those survivors. He's one of those tough guys that they gonna run him back because he don't mind taking the fights and he's going to make it an exciting fight. Now, if you go at his record, you can only go at the Shakur fight because he didn't step on the gas. Cool, but besides that, he got action fights.
It's true. That's true. But Greg, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
What do you think about this Zapata Shakur fight? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on the ring size being changed? How you think that'll affect the fight?
I mean, that you know why they doing that? They trying to shorten up the distance for Zapata to be able to get to him to make for a more exciting fight. Me, I think this is a great fight because of the styles. You got one guy who's gonna be on the outside. You got one guy who like to get on the inside. The thing is, the guy on the inside, Zepeda, he's relentless. So I think he's gonna force Shakur to fight. Also, I've been paying attention to Shakur during this camp. He's been strictly boxing. He ain't been doing no gossiping. He ain't been doing no commercials. He ain't been doing too many interviews. He's on boxing. So what that tells me is we looking forward to a great fight. That's just what I think.
He ain't doing no interviews because he ain't got to sell the fight.
But
No, I'm
that's what
joking.
Yep.
I'm joking.
that's what I'm saying. Most fighters of today, they can't wait to get on YouTube and do interviews and sit down with somebody and just talk bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just getting ready to fight. Just like I think Africa this weekend, I
I
think
was
he been
just about to ask you that. I
I
was
think
just about to ask you that.
I think he been doing a great job training and getting ready, but I don't like the shit he talking because if the shit don't add up to the fight, if the fight don't add up to the shit he been talking, then it's gonna be a dud. And
Don't he seem
and
out of character?
he is out of character because that's not him. But the thing is, you trying to open up this new character. There you go. That's the word, character. You trying to open up this new character for us to see you a certain way when you fighting a guy that you should beat. So we not excited about that. What we excited about is to see if you're going to do something different to that guy that hasn't been done. Yes, he's been stopped by Lomachenko, but that stoppage was like TKO style. He had enough mentally, and it was late in the fight. We want to see you go out there and get Cambosis out of there within the first five. Now, if you do that, then I would be impressed.
But
Yeah.
from my experience with fighters acting out of character, it's an insecurity somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually when I see fighters acting out of character, it's like a red flag for me. So maybe he is trying to create, this new
But
character.
can I say something though? Part of what you're saying is true. Sometimes it is the insecurities, but I'm gonna tell you something else. It's a lot of this going on in boxing right now. there's people that they're hiring called PR and all this other shit. They got these people telling these guys that they gotta be superstars and they gotta do this and they gotta talk more shit and you gotta dress more flashy. And guess what? Some people are just not like that. They just not like that. And it don't look right when they try it. So they end up playing a fool of themselves because when they get in the ring, you're gonna forget about boxing. You're gonna be thinking about how good you look or is your outfit fitting right and all that dumbass shit. So that's part of the reasons we getting bullshit fights too. Cause all of these fighters just want to look good. They don't want to fight. You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit going on in the business of boxing because there's so much money around. It's a lot of bullshit going on and people not speaking up on it and fighters not being real about it because they don't want to get blackballed. They want to make this money. They tired of being poor. They want to make this money. So oh yeah, Tank, go ahead and wear this pocketbook. All right. So he wear the pocketbook. Oh yeah, go ahead and put some fingernail polish on. So he go ahead and put the fingernail polish. This is bullshit. These
Oh
guys,
yeah, go to that Diddy party.
yeah, these guys is from the inner city of grimy cities. And where the fuck did you pick up this behavior? It's only coming from influence of the people that's around you. So there you go. I mean, that's why we getting these bullshit
PR
fights.
people, aka fugazi ass niggas. Exactly.
Well, can I,
Telling
can I,
these
say- can I
people to
say
do all
something,
kind of
y'all?
fugazi shit. Absolutely. I was gonna pass it to you, Dean. What's up, Dean?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
What
Phoenix,
up?
Dean,
What
what
up?
up?
9, 2
Got the
Cent,
all-star
Greg, what
panel
up,
up here
Greg?
today.
Chilling.
What's
What's up, Dean?
what's going on, Greg? My motherfucking guy. Philly in the building, man. I want to say this though. Greg, I hear where you coming from. Like, what you saying about people not wanting to fight Shakur, I 100% agree with. But the other part of that is though, boxing is speaking as a whole. Yeah, they could do all the flashy stuff and do all this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you gotta be entertaining, bro. You gotta do more than just win. More winning ain't enough. Look what Devin Haney, Shakur won against De Los Santos. He got crucified for winning. Devin just won, got crucified. Shakur was so trying to put on a performance against Arthur. He was saying from the 7th round, he gonna knock the boy out and apologized after the fight that he won. So even those fighters is feeling the pressure because think about it. Alexander Usyk ain't got to do all of that to get opportunities and become popular. He just go in there and put on a show. David Benavidez, he's kind of entertaining in his press conferences and all that. But the main reason we like David Benavidez is because of how he fights. Gervonta Davis, Terence Crawford. These are fighters that's not going to be on no undercards. Devin, Shakur, fighters that want to just do the pure boxing. Look at what happened to Jermaine Ortiz. We ain't heard from Jermaine Ortiz since the T.O. fight. And he's a great fighter. I think he got robbed against T.O. and Loma. That's just my opinion. But
Right.
at the end of the day, they could, look, Greg, they could fight that way. I ain't knocking it because I appreciate that. I appreciate that as well, like pure boxers and all of that. But we living in a different era, bro. You need a show getting put on. You
We
got YouTube shorts, Instagram posts. If they ain't got nothing to post no highlights of you, what highlight they was about to post the Devin versus Ramirez? They
Let
can't
me tell
post,
y'all
you know,
this too.
like
This is a trend also happening in the amateurs because both my sons box, right? And they're boxers. They move, they in and out, whatever. People don't want to fight them. So like this is a trend even starting in the amateurs of people not wanting to fight boxers that move.
and 2 Cent. My biggest thing is the boxing
Hey, can
Turkey
I
is
ask a
speaking.
question? Can I ask
Go
a
ahead.
question?
Mhm.
I want to answer to Greg. You know how there's people have been saying, like, I can't remember who they are, but they've said this before that boxing, they thought boxer skills today, a lot of this stuff is more about like physical fitness training versus like people really like developing the boxing skills. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that, and then like kind of relate that to the where these people are not engaging. You know what I mean? It's like they look good, they have all the X's and O's and all that stuff, but when it comes time to really grinding and really fighting and being able to like step and impose themselves, it doesn't seem like guys like um Devin Haney has that gear, that ability to really impose himself on somebody, where there's other fighters that can box, they can do it different ways. And when they want to, drain your tank and get you out of there, they can do it. So I'm just wondering, man, if what your thoughts are on what that guy said about a lot of these people, a lot of these trainers are just basically like strength and conditioning coaches who train you to be able to move longer, have more endurance, but they're not teaching you the fundamental skills necessary to break down a guy and get him out of there. What's your thoughts on that?
That's why I brought up Mayweather with the money. That's the whole mentality now. But Mayweather didn't come from that mentality. He developed that mentality. He only developed that mentality because he realized how much money was in boxing. So he tapped into his other attributes, him being able to dance, him being able to act or whatever. He's not a great actor, but I'm just saying he went on WWE and he act like he was mad at the Big Show. We know Big Show had choked the life out of him, but the thing is, it's sold for the kids that didn't know Mayweather. It's sold. Who is this guy? Now you got guys who was weenies in school. They was regular kids. Now you trying to get them to tap into being a gangster. He not no
That nigga said
fucking
a
gangster.
weenie, dog. That's
Yeah,
fucking.
yeah, yeah. He,
Give a
he, we
weenie.
we looking for these guys to be tough guys, and they not tough guys. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you some real truth. It's great that these guys have their fathers in their life. That's a great thing, but it's not great for boxing. Here's why. Because when you got a father, most of the time in the neighborhood, the kids is not going to fuck with the kids who have a father. That's one. Two, the drug dealers and the influencers in the hood, they not going to fuck with the kid who has a father because his father is going to check the situation. Most of the kids that grew up, even Mayweather, if you listen to his story, his father was what? A gangster. His father ended up where? In jail. You understand? So that lets you know that the kind of shit he was around. He even said in an interview that his uncle shot his father. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So that lets you know what kind of surroundings he was involved in. Now, when he goes in the ring, he takes that in the ring. These guys don't have that kind of background. They got the kind of background where they, well, you hungry? All right, well, let's go get something to eat. Oh, you ready to go to bed? Let's tuck you in. You ready to go to school? Let's get you some new shoes and new these guys never been through nothing. So when they get in the ring and you wondering why they not throwing punches, it's because they was always being told, you know what, you got to be smart. So we're gonna do the smart thing. You're gonna use your jab and you're gonna keep circling the ring. You don't go in there and try to do too much because this guy hurt you. You know what I mean? They never had to really fight for anything. Yeah, they fought in the amateurs, but they never had to fight for their life. Yeah, I know what it. See, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but when I was 10 years old, I had a knife put to my throat when I was fucking 10 by like a 13-year-old, a white
You,
boy. You understand? So I
yeah.
know I know what it's like to be facing death. When I was 5 years old, I set the house on fire and almost died and almost killed all my cousins in the fucking house. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is these guys ain't been through shit. So when you see it in the ring come out like that, it's because they don't know what to do. They
Well,
don't know
Greg,
what to do. Now, as far as the strength and conditioning, that's become popular because of the look, because you look good, and they tell you, well, look, these guys might be on some type of supplement, so we got to get stronger, we got to get faster, we got to
Mm-hmm.
get better. You know what I mean? So that's why the strength conditioning kind of picked up because you really is up against some shit. You know what I mean? If you pay attention to the game, you got fighters walking around with scientists. Why the fuck would a fighter need a scientist in his corner?
Mm.
You understand?
Preach,
You understand what I'm
preach.
saying? So when you got shit like that going on, the strength conditioning shit is kind of going to take over. You know what I
well,
mean?
Greg, can I say this though? That part I 100% agree with. Where the problem come in, Greg, is they be talking like they about to go out there and do what Gervonta Davis does or
Because
do
they
what Terence Crawford does. See, that's the problem. If
because
they
they
just went
know
in, if they just
my
went in there and was just on some like, listen, I'm gonna go in there and get the win. I'm a prime example. Shakur just came out and been saying for the last month, Greg. Oh, on July, y'all gonna see one of the greatest performances. I'm gonna put belt the ass, the whole
Killer
nine,
Curry.
right? Now, if he go out there and it don't look like that, people get mad at the criticism afterwards. And that's the problem I got, Greg, because in basketball, football, soccer, you start running your mouth all crazy, and then you go out there and put up 5 points, you're going to be on ESPN first take tomorrow. Sorry, whether you like it or not. because so they got to understand. Talk how you talk, what you actually going to do. Don't be talking like you going to do this, build up all this expectation, and then you go out there like Devin did against Ramirez, said he going to beat the boy up and do all this, that, and the third, and then you go out there and then you don't do it because Turkey is showing with his actions, Joe. He made the ring size smaller. He made Devin and Shakur undercard fighters. Devin and Shakur wasn't undercard fighters before they went over there and started messing with Eddie and Turkey. They was headlining.
Can I say this? The reason you seeing guys talk, right, is because they know, one, that's what people want to hear. People want to see the controversy. We love, in America, in the world, we love controversy. We love war. We love confliction. We love that type shit, right?
But it got to be genuine, though, Greg.
No, it got to be genuine. But that's what I'm saying. You're not in a genuine game. This is not a genuine game. Boxing is just like the mob. It's just like the streets. It's just the same shit. Now here's the thing.
Hey, hold on, y'all. Hold on. We chopping into a little too much. Let Greg finish. We chopping into.
Oh, my bad.
No, not you. I'm just saying we're cutting across you a little bit much. I'm just saying let you get your answer.
What we are witnessing right now is guys. The reason these guys are acting like this because they don't know who they are. Just like you said, be yourself. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are because they have been being guided through life since they was fucking children. So they don't know. Every decision that has been made, somebody else made the decision. That's why when it come time for them to make decisions now, they don't know what to do. That's why we seeing the fights we seeing. I swear to God, if you pay attention, a lot of these guys, they had somebody over top of them showing them how this shit go. A lot of people from my era. All right, put it like this. I'm gonna just finish with this. I grew up with a gang of probably like 11 guys, right? 2 fathers around, and both of them was drug addicted. So therefore, we raised each other. You get what I'm saying? So we had to figure this shit out on our own. These guys that we watching, they getting everything put in front of them. So they don't know. They don't really know who they are. How you gonna be? How you gonna know how to talk to girls and you've been on TV since you was 14? You don't know how.
You're right, Greg.
You don't
You're right
know
about that.
You don't know how to talk to girls. You ain't never had to really mac nothing. You ain't really had to spit no game. You ain't have to go home and get in the mirror and talk to yourself and brush your hair a million times till the waves come in and really had to figure this shit out. You ain't have to do that because the girls already know who you are. So they approaching you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have to steal a car to learn how to drive because you had a car as soon as you was able to get your license.
So, Greg, can I ask you, what's the difference between Boots got Bozy in his life, Abdullah Mason got his father in his life, but they out there stepping, they got the right mentality, and they don't be all doing all of the capping. And the crazy part is, Greg, they got the capabilities to talk how the other guys talk. That's not putting on them type of performances.
So let me break that down.
Okay.
That's because old head Mason and old head Bozy, they real boxing guys. Bill is a business guy. Bill is a street guy, business guy. He a cool guy, but he's more business minded. Bozy is in his mind is a war going on. In Mason's mind, a war is going on. So we got to get ready for the next wars. We got to make sure we don't do that again. When Abdullah, you found that out when Abdullah Mason got dropped, bro. He handled that shit like a professional, bro. He got up, he put the man down. Then he got put down again. Then he composed himself in between rounds and he went out there and finished the job. Bozy, I know Bozy personally. I don't know Mason personally, but I know Bozy personally. Bozy still shoot bow and arrows. Bozy still go hunting. Bozy still go fishing. He do shit like that. He's that kind of guy. So he passed that to his son. This is how you carry yourself, and this is why you have to carry yourself like that. Bill, on the other hand, and this is no disrespect to Bill, because Bill has found plenty of success with his style. But when it comes to fighting, his thing is how it looks. That's why he always had somebody train his son, but then he in the corner talking.
Okay. No, that's an amazing answer. I completely agree with that. Like that's it, my biggest thing where I'm getting to with all of this is these guys doing all of this, and I just know that's not the way to go about actually promoting yourself. And you want to under deliver and over perform, not in reverse. And every time you do that, you're going to have a negative effect. It's just in life and anything, at your job, with your girl, with your homies. You can't be like, yo, Greg, we done been in situations. We got a homeboy who run his mouth the most. Then it go down at the bar or wherever. He the first one out the door. You can't lay that down, brother. You left us hanging, my guy.
And
You
guess
were
what
saying?
happened? And next time he don't get to go.
Talk there we go. And that's why
Hey,
they on undercards, Greg.
let me cut in for a second. I want to have not a disagreement with Greg, but I just want to put a little thing in there because I come from a family where I never had to worry about what I was going to eat, whether I was going to get shoes, any of that. There's a certain amount of bitch inside of a person. I don't care where they from.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's a certain amount of people that just got bitch in them. They could be plenty of niggas from Maywood had plenty of bitch in them. Maywood is like the closest area to Chicago where it was all black, where all the gangs were, vice lords were. Trust you me, plenty of them dudes had plenty of bitch in them. Right. And there's plenty of dudes over here. So there's a certain amount of scary. Yeah, let me finish 1 second.
Oh, my bad.
No, for sure. I'm not going to speak of any particular person because again, man, that's the expertise that you guys have, what you see. But I do think that people's personality come into play in how they fight and how they just behave in general. And some of these dudes, it wouldn't have mattered what they daddy had, what they daddy didn't have. They just got a lot of bitch in them niggas for real. And so, because some of the stuff that they doing is that's just sucker ass shit that they doing to certain fighters. You know what I mean? Besides just what's going on in the ring. But go ahead, man. Yeah, you can respond now. I just want to set that.
This was my question to you though, Nine. How old are you?
56.
All right. So you come from a different era, a gang war era, right?
Yeah.
Now we know who the bitches is, like you said, because they either trying to stab somebody or they even not even trying to be out there. They not even trying to be out there. And if they come out there, they gotta have a weapon, right? I'm not saying it's not guys like that, but this is how you able to separate them. You able to see. I'm not saying because these guys had people over top of them that's why they don't have it. What I'm saying is these guys haven't been able to create an identity. I'm pretty sure from the way you say you was raised, you knew who you were at 21 years old.
Yeah. I mean, enough to know that my dad that I gotta do it. My daddy ain't doing it.
Right.
But yeah,
and you also strong-minded. I listen to you talk. You got a strong mind mentally. Like, you know what I mean? You even when you going through something, you're not gonna let nobody just break you. I watch you. I pay attention.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is these guys haven't even been able to tap into that at all. At all. Where you may have told, hey, nah, listen, you gotta go to work, bro. You see your dad go to work, you see your brother go to work, you see this one go, you gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? These guys, man, listen, all you gotta do is box. I'm gonna make sure you this, I'm gonna make sure you that, you good. So when it comes to a fight where somebody trying to kill them, they don't know what to do. They like, what the fuck? You didn't say it would be like this in training. You know what I'm saying? Shit gets
I agree with that, Greg. Like,
that's deep.
It's just a lot of these. It's just, man, listen here, man. Devin, like, I think Devin's a good fighter. I think if he focused more on the things like when you can't self-reflect and really go to do some deep diving in your boxing game, forget what we say on YouTube, forget what they saying on Twitter, forget about what Gervonta Davis is doing over here and what Richardson. What is Bill doing in the damn crowd with Richardson? Like, what is that type?
Well, that's tactics, though.
No, I know, Greg, but I'm saying your son just had a terrible. We don't want to hear from you right now. Get back in the ring. Greg, we from Philly. What's Jalen Hurts' biggest saying? Keep the main thing the main thing. That's how you accomplish what you want out of life. That's how you become the boxer that you want. We praise Terence Crawford for what? Because Terence Crawford keeps the main thing the main thing. He don't drink, he don't smoke, he don't do none of that. He not all. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. You got to work even harder than you talk. And then when you get in the ring and then we see that you regressing, then obviously you weren't going as hard as you may need to be going to actually get to where you trying to go in life. So
Mhm.
I understand these guys want the spotlight, but you got to be ready for what come with the spotlight. With the spotlight comes expectations. With the spotlight comes a demand to perform. You want millions of dollars. Ain't nobody trying to hear why you're not capable of doing it. That's not what you said when you signed the contract. It's
Mhm.
time to get in there and go to work, man. It's time to get in there and do what you got to do. It's either sit on the pot or get off. Because now they
Mhm.
getting put in those positions because now the walls is closing in. Everybody ain't got nowhere to go no more, Greg. We ain't gonna keep hearing T.O. don't want to fight Devin, Shakur not fighting Tank. No, the walls is closing in every month that go by. Every time another fight card comes on, so it's like I just really want these guys to buckle down and work on the things you need to work on to be able to perform to the capabilities that you say that you possess.
I'm
That's
a,
all.
can I say this, right? I I I don't always agree with Bill do, but I respect Bill. I'll tell you why. He didn't know, but he made it happen. He made it happen because at the end of the day, we know his son, right? And even though I'm saying what I'm saying about these kids not being able to really develop about and learn who they are, that motherfucker Devin Haney is a dog though. Don't get it fucked up. Because to be able to get hit the way he got hit versus Ryan Garcia and get back up and keep trying to fight, and the way he was getting hit in that sparring session with Tank, and to keep coming out trying to fight and keep pushing, that speaks to what type of heart he has. But he's like a robot. He only doing it because he being told to do it. He don't know what to do while he in there, but fuck it, I'm gonna just keep fighting. So he built a hell of a fighter. He did. But the thing is, you don't really know. That's why you even told him, yo, we gonna fight Ryan. No, don't fight Ryan. Box him like you've been doing. But he learned his lesson. Now you see him come in there with Ramirez and overbox because he don't want that to happen again. So that's clearly record to show that he's experimenting with his son when it comes to boxing. Now, when it comes to life, he's doing all the right
Wow.
things. When it comes to life, he's doing all the right things for his kids and his sons. That he's doing what he's supposed to do, making sure they on a straight line, making sure they not getting in trouble, making sure they making some money. Cool. But the thing is, with the ring, he's experimenting. With what you see with Abdullah and Boots is not experimenting. We going in there and we know what we trying to do to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So
No, I agree. I just don't think it's a coincidence that like David Benavidez, Abdullah Mason, you got Jerron Boots Ennis and the way that they dads conduct themselves with their sons. I don't think that that's just a coincidence in itself. And like I
yeah,
said, I just think a lot of these guys, the expectation is already there. See, I agree with you. Bill did a great job of getting his son in the spotlight, but once you in the spotlight, that ain't the time to be experimenting. You supposed to be an expert by this time. You Mr. Undisputed. You
Let me
supposed to
say this, bro. How about
go ahead,
about to
Phoenix.
roll out here in a sec. See, one thing with all of this is, and I agree with Dean. It's like the authenticity part. Fight how you talk, and that's why we getting fed up with a lot of these guys. That's why I've been fed up with Ted Haney since the Gamboa fight. He ain't live up to what he was saying. That's why we've been frustrated with Shapiro the past 2 years. They've been talking about killer Curry. You're gonna see something new. I'm gonna put belt the ass all day. We've been talking about the last 2 years. Go in the ring and don't do that. So that's my issue with these guys. And the problem with that is like for as much as they talk, they got the athleticism, but in like the skill though, in certain spots you get to see that skill ain't really there. Like Greg, what you were just saying about how Devin don't know what to do in the ring, but he fight. That's true because we see like him, Shakur, and a few others like Theo too. These guys have got this high athleticism, and to what Fanon was saying earlier about having athleticism and endurance versus skill. We see that they can box, they can stay on the outside, they can do all that. But if they the ones that got to come forward, they can't cut the ring off. If they the ones that got to make an adjustment, they can't make an adjustment. They just keep fighting and hope that things go their way. A lot of these fighters is coming up today. Like that's why for me personally, it's very hard to get on board with every new name that's popping up, just because being in the ring and then seeing what I see in our gym. and then seeing what I've seen like from fighters in the past, I'm looking at how these guys is coming up. It's like, man, like they really not skilled. They don't know like Devin against Ryan. I know some people think, oh, Bill told Devin to go ahead and fight him on this and that. Me personally, I think that was going to go the way it was, no matter what. Simply because one, Ryan can come forward, Ryan can cut off the ring somewhat, and being the same height and the same reach and having faster hands, Devin didn't know what distance to be at because he'd be used to fighting people shorter than him, where it's easy for his jab to look good. And when you got somebody the same height and the same reach, you can't fight them at the same distance, especially if they got the faster hands. And he couldn't even neutralize Ryan's lead hand with that, even though he knew the left hook was coming. He kept getting hit with it. And you see that Devin's reflexes, his reactions, he wasn't able to react to the stuff he was getting hit. As opposed to Tank when we seen that fight, he had the reflexes. He was able to take the lead hand away, and Ryan will never throw his right. So it's things like that that I'm looking at with a lot of these guys coming up, and it's like, yeah, to a certain extent, okay, I get it. You got to hype yourself up if you want to be seen. You got to try to get your name out there. You got to do this and that. And you said like, yeah, people like controversy, but controversy get old when it's the same story over and over. We're not seeing any aftermath that lines up for whatever was stirred up in the first place. So with these guys coming up, they want to do all this talking, they want to do all this and that, but then don't want to go ahead and have their performance show it. Like, shoot, ain't nothing wrong. Like with being yourself. Like if you know you're a master technician, just go in and say, yeah, you know what, he's not gonna touch me. No, if you're somebody who's a brawler and stuff, okay, tell them, yeah, it's gonna I'm gonna try to make it a dog fight. But you ain't gotta keep on trying to talk like you're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff which we ain't never seen you do before. Or like right now with Shakur, people still living off the hype from his 126 to 130 days. Waiting for that to come back. That's like waiting for Jesus Walks Kanye to come back. It ain't happening. So that's the thing with me with all these fighters, man. Like they got to just be real about it, be authentic, and then like maybe things might work out better for them. But if they keep on overselling and under delivering, and more of them gonna end up on undercards like this, and it's pretty soon they're gonna be on the prelims.
Well,
That's what I got
Phoenix,
today.
Phoenix, they just got to be able to take the criticism of things that people are saying that they need to work on and go work on. And Abdullah Mason, when he got dropped twice, he came back in his next fights and he kept that hand up. He went back and made that adjustments to the criticism he was receiving. Jerron Boots Ennis against Karen Kukadadis the first time, having trouble cutting the ring off. He did a much better job of that the second time. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to take the criticism. When Floyd Mayweather was telling Bill Haney about the butterfly jab, he didn't want to hear it. I
Yeah,
don't need no help. I don't know. No, you do, bro. You do need help. You're not perfected yet. You haven't mastered this the way you think that you have. Look at Ryan Garcia. He was devastated in the car. You want to know why he was devastated? Because he didn't think Rolly had upgraded himself. And he thought that I'm going to just go in there and do what I do. And that's underestimating your opponent. That's up there. You're thinking that you're better than you are without actually working on the things that you actually need to be better, to be where you say you trying to go. That's all that, like I said, a lot of
I
these
agree with
guys,
that.
they don't want to take the criticism of what people are genuinely saying that you probably need to get better at. Gervonta Davis, you watched against Lamont Roach. The main reason why Gervonta Davis, that fight was even close to be a draw. Gervonta wasn't using his jab enough. And people been telling Gervonta Davis that you got to be a little more active in the beginning. It's not going to work every time like against Frank Martin and what you've been doing. Somebody's going to be able to withstand that and come with a game plan because they're watching you and building their game based on what Lamont Roach say, Fanon. I be watching Tank. I know what he like to do, and he prepared for that. These guys are not willing to go in there and take the criticism of what people are saying. And then when they go out there and the performance is not up to par, then they get upset about the backlash that come with it. Well, you got to understand the stuff that you are deficient in, we've been trying to tell you about, and then it gets shown in front of the world. And then now everybody is sitting there all somber and upset about it, bro. We was telling
There's another
Shakur
reason for
Stevenson.
that too.
I made video about Shakur Stevenson hands over a year ago. I said that's a major concern for me. Everybody, Deem, he gonna be all right. He needs to go to a hand specialist and really go get that fixed for real. Because as he goes up in weight and tries to be more he's not going to be able to do that what he did against De La Santos. He's going to have to use those hands. It just is what it is. Get a different wrap, man. Find ways to experiment with your gloves, whatever the situation may be. A lot of these guys just don't want to take the criticisms of what people say that they need to work on to be better at their craft. And they think
But the
everything
problem,
is an attack and everything is you hating and all this, that, and the third. And there's no, we got eyes. If you don't have cataracts, you can see clearly what's happening and what's going on. So I'll just leave it right there. I just think that's the
yeah,
biggest criticism that I have, because then I watch great fighters actually come back and be better, that actually do take criticism and they add those things to their game. It elevates them. That's all.
yeah, because only certain fighters can do that. Because like not everybody like you'll see it. There's certain fighters where if they've got like a natural athleticism along with the skill to go with it, like that. Like to me personally, that's when you know you got a fighter that's great. They got the natural talent, you know, the speed, the reflexes, their punching power, all that. But at the same time, they also have the skill. They know the fundamentals, and they're able to put both of them together. That's why you'll see that some fighters they can go out there, their trainer tell them to do something, and they can do exactly that, no questions asked. And then you see other fighters where even in the middle of a fight, you hear what the corner tell them to do in the next round, and they're not able to do it. Like it don't come out, you don't see it at all. And that's because like certain fighters, like when they're coming up, they and you can tell who they is. They look robotic. They look like everything is choreographed. They look basically the same and don't really got no flair to their style. It's like very, very textbook. But then you see the fighters who got that natural athleticism, and you can tell, like, yeah, they boxing, yeah, they understand the fundamentals, but you can tell, yo, that's their style. That's them. But then, like I said, the cookie cutter type fighters, they can't go out and do that. So that's why for them, the criticism is hard to take because they're going to hear that and feel like, oh, you just hate, you just hate. But deep down, they know that they're not able to go ahead and make those adjustments in the ring because, like, especially once you've been fighting a certain way for so long. And I think that's kind of what messes up some fighters. They fight the same way for so long, take a bad loss, and then they don't know how to adjust after that. Maybe they switch their trainers, try to learn something new, and then like they never look the same while trying to learn something new and stuff because they wasn't equipped to be able to make that adjustment in the first place. So I think that's why some fighters don't take that criticism all too well. So with that, I catch y'all later. I'll still be listening.
All right,
All right,
Phoenix.
bro.
And that's the thing too that Phoenix mentioned with the trainers. It seemed like how we can say Calvin Ford is Tank's trainer, Eddie Reynoso is Canelo's trainer. Who is Devin's trainer? He
It's a good
always has a
question.
different trainer. He always has a new trainer. He's trained with so many people. It's like I don't know. Like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And I think as far as like coming with your identity and your style. And I think I made a video about this when Shane Mosley said that Devin took his dad's mentality in the ring. And I said that's a problem because that shows right there he doesn't have his own identity because there's no way you should be taking somebody else's mentality with you into the ring as a fighter.
Now you right
And
about that too, Cent, because he just posted today on Twitter for Non and everybody. I don't know if y'all seen, but Bill had said something in an interview about if Turkey don't want the no running or whatever, then that's what he gonna get. And then Devin quoted the tweet and was like, "Yeah, whatever my dad say, he speak for me. So if my dad say it, he's speaking for me. That's the problem right there, good brother. That's the problem right there." He really said that for Non. Like whatever my dad say, he's speaking for me. You're 26 years old, brother. You the
If
same age as
Devin
Jerron Ennis, man.
if Devin Haney don't run, Devin Haney gonna have a short career. I don't care. Devin Haney, you got it. You can't sit there with your foot in a tire, man, and bang it out. That's not who he is. I'm telling you, it's not who he is. He was getting clipped by Lomachenko trying to do that. Getting clipped nicely by him trying to do that. So, okay. We'll see. I'm about to get up out of here though, man. Y'all
Now
got
I holler at
anything
you
else?
for Non.
All right, Dean.
All right.
Get back.
Y'all have a great day.
You as well, Greg. Get back. 2 cents.
all
You
right,
got anything else? All right, now
no,
get
I'm
back
good. All right, peace out.
for sure. All right, I'll help you out, Greg. All right, there you go. Real quick before I go, because their fathers ain't F Negroes. 2 Cents said, put some color in the chat. Thank you so much. And Phenomenal Show said, got a video for you from Latino side of boxing regarding Turkey, Bud and Canelo. It's one of the bigger YouTube channels. He cooked. Okay, cool, man. Send it to me. I'll check it out. But look, thank y'all so much for chopping it up with me today. I thought that was a great panel, great conversation. I'll holler at y'all probably tomorrow. I have to get on the road tomorrow, but if not, Saturday for sure. Deuces.